Hello and welcome to this Spotlight session, part of the PRCA Global Series, where we're talking and taking a closer look at Canada following its recent election and what the results might mean beyond its borders. So I'm Jo Brophy and I'm delighted to welcome today's speaker, Bryan G. Jones, you'll see, the founder and CEO of BGJ Global. So Bryan is an international business leader with over 25 years of experience, spanning public affairs, crisis communications, and executive leadership. And his career also ranges across Canada, the USA, Mexico, Latin America, Europe, and Asia, to name just a few. So he's worked with governments across the Americas, led businesses through complex global challenges, and is known for helping organizations turn their political and economic complexity into strategic advantages. So, Bryan, over to you.
Thanks, Jo. As Jo said, my name's Bryan Jones. I run a public affairs consultancy based in Toronto, where we help businesses solve their public affairs challenges and make more money. In today's economy, it often feels like we're running businesses with one eye on the market and the other on the next presidential tweet. The landscape is unpredictable, and navigating it requires not just resilience, but strategic foresight. In 1941, Winston Churchill stated, and I quote, "Canada is the linchpin of the English-speaking world." Canada, with those relations of friendly, affectionate intimacy with the United States on the one hand, and her unswerving fidelity to the British Commonwealth and the motherland on the other, is the link which joins together these great branches of the human family. As you can see, Canada is a large country. For comparison, the UK would fit into Canada 41 times. Canada has a Westminster-style democracy with welcoming people and breathtaking beauty. Its economy is strong and it's strategically located beside the world's most powerful economy. Canada-US trade is amongst the world's largest, valued at about $600 billion annually. The US is Canada's top trading partner, with key exports including natural resources and machinery. The Continental Trade Agreement, also known as the USMCA, facilitates tariff-free trade, supporting millions of jobs and economic growth in both nations, as well as Mexico. Today, we'll explore three key areas: the political environment in North America, the economic landscape, and why all this matters to the world, and especially to you as public affairs and communications professionals. Over the past year, Canada, Mexico, and the US have all elected new governments. The level of uncertainty is unlike anything since World War II, driven by five main factors: political upheaval, trade disruptions, geopolitical conflicts, market swings, and shifting consumer confidence. Let's look at the political environment in Canada and the results of its recent election. The Liberal Party, shown here in red, won its fourth successive election under a new leader, Mark Carney. He's the former governor of the Bank of Canada and of the Bank of England. His party won a minority or hung parliament, not achieving an outright majority of seats. They plan to balance the budget within 4 to 5 years if their economic assumptions hold. They're also promising increased spending of $130 billion on housing, artificial intelligence, and infrastructure. By July 1st, they aim to eliminate inter-provincial trade barriers, which would add $200 billion to the Canadian economy and boost GDP by 3 to 4%. However, regional tensions are rising. The blue indicates conservative vote, and the red indicates liberal, and there is an east-west divide that you can see. The oil-rich western province of Alberta is now pushing for a referendum on separation. This highlights growing western alienation and the challenge of national unity. Mr. Carney recently went to the White House to reset fractured relations with Mr. Trump. Canadians are feeling quite annoyed about Trump's quips of annexing the country and making it the 51st state. the economic landscape in North America. The U.S. is focused on America first, with tariff and trade policies that directly impact Canadian businesses. It is focused internally and not only on its economy, but also on its own best interests. This could cost Canada and Mexico millions of jobs. Meanwhile, in Canada, low consumer confidence, rising costs, and economic challenges persist, compounded by political divisions. Canada's GDP per capita still trails behind other G7 nations, as you can see here. JP Morgan in the United States estimates a 60% chance of recession in that country due to tariffs and a slowing recovery. Consumers are cautious, investment is slowing, and markets remain volatile. But here is the critical point. In chaos, there are opportunities for those willing to adapt quickly. In the US, trade negotiations and tariffs remain in flux, impacting supply chains and market stability. Canadian exports to the US fell in March by 6.6%, but exports to other markets surged by 25%, emphasizing the move to diversify markets has already started. Canada is also focusing on energy self-sufficiency and pipeline projects, though progress hinges on provincial cooperation. Expect increased taxes and a more active revenue agency to collect more tax dollars from businesses and individuals. So why does Canada and North America matter to you? Because North America is a global hub for trade, innovation, and investment. Its policies and economic health impacts markets worldwide. Staying informed and engaged with developments here can help you seize opportunities and mitigate risks. A new trade deal in North America is critical for the North American and global economies, and negotiations are set to begin shortly. In the interim, expect turbulence on trade, taxes, and regulation. The key will be to develop flexible, scenario-based plans, monitor key indicators, stay informed, and be prepared to pivot as conditions shift. Some key dates to watch. The King will deliver the speech from the throne to open the Canadian Parliament on May 27th. This will outline the government's agenda. Expect trade with the United States to feature prominently. Canada will also host the G7 in June. Leaders must build relationships, advocate effectively, and influence policy. This environment of change is not just a challenge, but an opportunity. Companies that take initiative and stay agile will not only survive, but they will thrive. As public affairs and communications professionals, your influence is vital. Your ability to build relationships with government stakeholders and media, anticipate policy shifts, and advocate strategically will determine your organization's resilience. The upcoming USMCA negotiations offer a roadmap for other countries seeking comprehensive trade deals with the United States. Canada is exploring new global partners and eager to sign agreements. With vast natural resources like lumber, oil, and minerals, Canada's role as a U.S. gateway may be shifting towards independent trade, shaping the future landscape. I encourage all of you to act confidently, advocate strategically, and turn challenges into opportunities. If you require any help in North America, please don't hesitate to contact me directly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bryan, for all of those insights and for sharing your thoughts on Canada's evolving political landscape and its broader global implications. So you've covered quite a lot of ground there, from the domestic shifts following the election to the ripple effects being felt internationally. And it's clear that Canada's role on the world stage continues to evolve in very interesting ways. So thanks to everybody watching this session in the PRCA Global Series. We'll be back soon with more interesting conversations offering international viewpoints on issues shaping our industry. And until then, take care and goodbye for now.